What do wines taste like from the most visually stunning wine region in the world? This is Alto Adige, famed for its delicious white wines that you might have heard of, Pinot Grigio and Gewürztraminer, but you've never had them like this before. And the red wines are from grape varieties that most of us have never tried. I want to give you a little bit more on Alto Adige with 4 wines you must try. Alto Adige actually sits in a very opportune spot to grow grape varieties. Looking at this alpine valley, it wouldn't seem possible to grow Vitis vinifera here. However, breezes come across Lake Garda, making the region quite warm, and the Alps act as a rain shadow from northerly storms, making it quite sunny. What's interesting is as you climb up in elevation, it gets cooler and cooler because of average lapse, making it possible to grow both aromatic, zesty, cool climate white wines along bold, full-bodied, age-worthy reds. If you ever come to the region, you'll notice a super-duper Germanic influence. And while Alto Adige is Italian, the region was part of the Austrian Empire for 7 centuries. So grapes have 2 names, their German name and their Italian name, and the region itself is called Südtirol in German. So what I have picked out here are 4 wines from this region you really gotta try. There's Pinot Grigio and Gewürztraminer for the whites, and the indigenous reds are Schiava and Lagrein. Pinot Grigio from Alto Adige. What you might not know is Pinot Grigio is related to, actually it is a mutation of Pinot Noir. And if you've had Pinot Noir, you'll note that it ranges wildly in style based on where it grows. And the same is true with this wine right here. I have in front of me a glass of Elena Walch Vigna Castel Ringbird Pinot Grigio for us to try. Taking a look at this wine, it looks to be a medium straw color, almost ranging to that gold. And I love to look for, in Pinot Grigio, a little bit of copper in the color sometimes as a clue, because this grape, it is much closer to red in color. Let's give this guy a smell. On the nose, this wine smells like honeydew melon, white peach, a little bit of tarragon, a lemon peel, and this mineral note that I would almost describe as wet chalk. On the palate, Pinot Grigio is a light, easy, dry wine, typically in Alto Adige. But it can have a little bit of body, and that is what this wine definitely has. We've got an explosion of acidity on the palate, but then in the mid-palate, I get these kind of sweet fruited notes of cantaloupe or honeydew melon, and then it finishes with this sort of waxy, oily palate on my mid-back palate. Wow, this wine definitely has some body for being a lean and minerally Pinot Grigio. And that's one thing I'd like to note about this region is if you're looking for Pinot Grigio here and you like a lean mineral style, look in the regions of Val Isarco. You'll find a lighter style and more dry from over there. If you like a more rich fruited, peachy, oily on the palate style, you might check out wineries around Bolzano, Turlano, or Tramin to find this richer, more full-bodied style. And sure enough, this wine right here comes from a single vineyard site, which is located just south of Bolzano, close to Lago di Caldero. Gewürztraminer from Alto Adige. Gewürztraminer is one of those wines that people either love or they love to hate because it's so aromatic. But I wager the people who don't like this grape just haven't had anything from northern Italy yet. The glass I have in front of me here is Cantina Tramin Nussbaumer Gewürztraminer. Taking a look at the color of this wine, wow, this is a richer color, more of a medium gold color. Definitely those hints of copper in the glass because Gewürztraminer is also a pinkish colored grape. On the nose, it is so crazy aromatic. Sweet rose, lychee, lime peel, a little bit of fresh cut flower stem, and young coconut. Let's give it a taste. Now this is where Alto Adige shines. Typically, Gewürztraminer is a pretty low acid grape variety, but where it grows in this region can produce quite a lot of acidity in this wine, and I do get that. A moment of this sparkle of acidity, which leads into these sweet sort of Meyer lemon notes, and while the wine is dry, the aromas are so sweet, it almost makes it taste sweet. But on the finish, I do get this nice crunchy bitterness that helps balance out those sweet aromas in this particular wine. If you're excited about Gewürztraminer, one of the things you can look for from this region are vineyard-designated Gewürztraminer wines. Check for Vigna on the label if you're looking for one of these. Schiava from Alto Adige. Now this is when we get into the indigenous varieties of Alto Adige. Schiava, which is indigenous, so it goes by a German name too, Vernach, and sometimes you'll see it by a regional name, Lago di Caldero or Caltersee. I have a glass of Erste New Caltersee Classico Superiore in front of me. Taking a look at this wine, wow, it is very translucent in color, pale ruby, almost pale purple in its color. On the nose, very confection, Luxardo or maraschino cherry, marzipan, almond joy, raspberry sauce, and just a subtle note, almost like wet slate. For how sweet this wine smelled, it is quite dry. I get notes of sour cherry on the palate, pretty good acidity that leads into this subtle note of tannin in there. Finish is quite smooth. This is a fantastic find if you are a Pinot Noir lover and want to taste more wines in that lighter red wine style. Because it's so smooth and fruity on the nose, it is just a really fun, tasty wine. And if you're looking for quality, definitely check out one of my favorite spots to source this wine, Santa Maddalena, just outside of Bolzano. Lagrein from Alto Adige. Lagrein is indigenous to Alto Adige, and you won't really find it anywhere else, so it is worth a search and a dig to find a bottle of this stuff to give it a try. What we have in front of me here is Cantina Terlano Grise Lagrein Reserva. Taking a look at this wine, wow, it has so much color. It looks to be a deep ruby color. It smells like black raspberries, sweet black cherries, chocolate-covered cherries, a whiff of mint, and this minerality I would almost describe like crushed gravel. On the palate, this wine is quite mouth-filling, and it just explodes of red cherry fruit. On the mid-palate, I do get some tannin structure, also in the front part of my mouth, so we've got some tannin structure there. The finish is warm and almost has this sweet cherry thing going on the finish of the back of my palate. Very cherry-driven wine. This one in particular reminds me of a Bordeaux with a Merlot base. These wines are very exciting to try from Alto Adige, and one of the reasons why is because they can age so well. Having tasted one 15 years old, I can say that the flavors go from this rich, bright cherry fruit to much more tobacco and smoky flavors as these wines age in the long term. Okay, so that is your preview to Alto Adige, an amazing wine region, one of Italy's top 20. And if you're curious to learn more, we actually just launched a guide, the region guide on Alto Adige, with every single producer in the guide and their wines, so you can find new and exciting wines to explore. If you like what we're doing at Wine Folly and love to learn about wine, definitely subscribe. And until next time, cheers and happy drinking.